Hello and welcome to Running the Table, the podcast where we run through everything on the table in the world of sports. And today we're taking a look at week 5 of the NFL season and everything that comes along with it. We had another great week of games with their fair share of upsets in it. So we're going to get into how we did last week as well as go through what we've got for this upcoming week of games here in week 5. So, Drew, you ready?
Sweet. Yeah, let's run it.
You know what? Yeah, we're gonna go with that. All right. So, Drew, looking at last week, how did we do with that crazy week of games?
Well, essentially, you close the gap. We both sit at 36, 27, and 1 for the season with that one gnarly tie between the Colts and the Texans on week 1. I went 9-7. Tim, you went 11-5, which is the best either one of us have done for the week. And in this little micro competition between the two of us, it's really anybody's game. So there's a lot of football left to be played and a lot of predicting left to be done. But let's get into this week's games.
You know it. And starting out this week, we have a interesting matchup for the Thursday night game with the Indianapolis Colts at the Denver Broncos. Neither team is, I would say, at the top of their game right now, although the Broncos have found a little bit of offense, but both teams are going to be without their starting running backs this week, and that's going to hurt big time. Jonathan Taylor out for most likely a short period of time, Javonte Williams with an ACL. But that being said, I like the Broncos. I don't think I like anything really about the Colts offense and the way that it's played recently, especially if Jonathan Taylor's not involved in it. So I think the Broncos are just going to have a little bit more going, especially with home field here.
Yeah, and for me, I don't trust either one of these teams. I don't.
Can we at all?
I really don't. Fun fact about me, I am 0-4 in predicting Colts games this season.
Then I hope you pick the Colts.
Yeah, I did. I really did. I picked Indianapolis. I have the Colts here.
Let's go.
I mean,
hopefully the streak will continue.
Yeah, I just don't trust the running back replacements of Melvin Gordon, Mike Boone, and Latavius Murray. I much rather look at
Hines.
I much rather trust him than those three.
Yeah,
so
I guess.
And neither one of these offenses look really good, but with the Colts, you have Pittman and Alec Pierce is stepping up. Mo Alley Cox and Jelani Woods, they both
the
take
tight end
turns.
play for the Colts has looked actually quite impressive.
And the Broncos, for some reason, their offense is just bad. So I'll take Indianapolis.
Yeah, so moving on here, we've got the New York Giants at your Green Bay Packers.
In London.
And they're both, yes, in London, which is going to be a fun game on its own. But they're two teams that are coming off of a win. I would say the Giants a little bit more convincing than the Packers because the Packers had a little bit of a scare last week. But that being said, the Giants are a little bit banged up going into this week. They've got some guys that are limited participants in this week, and some guys that aren't really that don't look like they're going to play this upcoming week. And because of that, I think some of those banged up injuries are going to get to them. The Packers are looking pretty decently despite the scare last week. I think they're going to continue to build on some of that offensive success.
Can we
I've got
move
the Pack
on
here
yet?
in London. Yes, we can. Because I think we know who you've got.
Yeah.
So for this next one here, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Buffalo Bills. I don't like the Steelers. I didn't at the beginning of the year. They've really only proven me right so far. I like the Bills. Therefore, Bills. Pretty simple.
Yeah, this is like the largest margin that a team has opened with. Like when the spreads first came out, Buffalo was favored by 14 points, which is almost unheard of.
That's like one of those like week 1 college football lines.
Yeah, it's like, and especially in a league where any given Sunday is 1,000% true. It's not will the Bills win, it's how much will they win by. I'll take Buffalo.
Next game we've got the LA Chargers at the Cleveland Browns. And the LA Chargers finally got Austin Eckler in the end zone, which made me as a fantasy owner very happy.
Yay!
And this one is going to be a battle of two running backs who are playing very well, or at least now that Eckler is playing well. But I think what's going to come back to bite the Browns is their inefficiencies in the passing game. So I've got the Chargers here. I think that they're going to have a little bit more going with them, especially with some of those injuries coming back for them, and the Browns still being Yeah, although I think Myles Garrett should be back this week. Glad to see that
He
he's going
returned
to
to
be back from,
practice, so
yes, glad to see that he's going to be back from
mhm.
that car accident. And he hasn't been out for too long, but I've still got the Chargers here.
If there's one upset that I'm going to take, it's going to be the Browns over the Chargers. The Chargers have been surprisingly bad against the run, and that's what Cleveland does really, really well. You
That
don't
is very
exactly
true.
need the passing game when you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt just absolutely tearing things up.
Yeah.
So
Welcome to the Raiders last week.
I'll take Cleveland.
There you go. So this next one here, we've got the NFC North matchup of the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings.
Is there any way that both teams can lose?
I'm sure you would like that, but that's
I
not
would.
going to
You're
happen
right. That's
here.
why I asked.
This is not a Colts Texans situation here. This is not a game where it's going to go into overtime and end in a
Maybe I
tie.
should predict a tie.
Do it, please. I dare you. It would be fantastic. But I've got the Vikings here. The Vikings offense is just going to be too much for the Bears defense to handle. They haven't been that great so far anyway. And the Vikings pose a an aerial duel that I don't think the Bears can keep up with.
Yeah, I do as well. Minnesota is going to completely overwhelm them through the air, and Chicago is still looking incredibly one-dimensional, and that does not give you sustained success. Simply put, I got the Vikings.
Up next, we've got the Detroit Lions at the New England Patriots. And the Patriots are a team that, surprised some people last week with their performance. Although, as we've pointed out in the past, Belichick is Belichick. He's going to game plan the way he does and bring his team just about as ready as they can be. And the Lions are a team that have been putting up points left and right, although can't seem to close games. Wow, that's hard to
Words are
say.
hard.
Yes. But in this matchup, we're looking to maybe seeing Mac Jones back this week. But
Maybe.
I still don't really like the look of the Patriots offense, regardless of whether or not Mac Jones, the one at the helm. They rely a lot on that running game to be the main source of their power. And the Lions, on the other hand, have actually looked good in both directions, both running the ball and passing, whether or not DeAndre Swift is out there. Also, you're going to be getting guys back like Amon-Ra St. Brown that are going to help your passing game, and they didn't even need them last week. So I've got the Lions in this one, even away.
But here's the thing, Tim. This is an awesome matchup for the Patriots. This is pretty much what you want. Yeah, the Lions have looked good offensively, but Belichick finds a way. And on the other side of the ball, you got Bailey Zappi from
Hey,
Houston Baptist Christian Lutheran Methodist State College University and the running back duo of Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris. And let's not forget, this Lions team put up 45 points and lost. Their
that is true.
defense is awful. The Patriots will find a way. I believe this is an excellent matchup for them, not only for Bailey Zappi to get his first career start, but his first career win.
Will we see Bill Belichick suit up as punter, maybe?
Yeah.
Going into this next matchup, we've got the said Seattle Seahawks who faced the Lions this past week at the New Orleans Saints. And the Seahawks are a team that I have no idea what to expect out of any given week. Although we talked about the fact the Lions defense is not good, and that definitely helped them put up as many points as they did. How did they put up that many points in the first place? And the New Orleans Saints are confusing in their own right. You never know whether you're going to get a high-powered offense or a staunch defense or the opposite or neither. So with that being said, I've still got the Saints. I think that they're due for a win. I
It's
think
weird.
that something's got to swing
It's a
their way.
wonky matchup. It's
Chris
just
Olave has played well for them, and I think that they're going to be able to put together enough because they were that close. They were a double doink away from tying that game and extending that one last week. So
yeah, I also got the Saints, but not with much confidence. I think this is a weird matchup either way. Geno Smith will do Geno Smith things, but I think they put
he's
up
not gonna call back.
yeah, I think they put up 48 points more to the fact that the Lions are terrible and not that the Seahawks are good. So, with that being said, it doesn't matter whether Jameis or Dalton is starting. I'll take New Orleans.
There you go. Moving on, we've got the Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets. And as much as I was thrilled to predict the Zach Wilson return game, oh dear. The Miami Dolphins are still playing like one of the best teams in this league, Tua or not.
You sound conflicted. Coin?
You know what? I'm gonna leave the coin to you. I still like overall the Dolphins team, and I think that they're going to be able to come out and
Fine.
put up a better performance against the Jets than the Steelers did. So I've got Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm not using the coin. I just thought you'd be conflicted.
It was all a ploy.
It was all a ploy. But yeah, I am also choosing the Dolphins. I will not only choose the Dolphins to win, but I'll also choose the Dolphins to cover because I saw a little nugget that Teddy Bridgewater is 24-6 in his career against the spread in, I think, when he was a backup. I forget the conditions, but he's like really, really good against the spread. So Miami is a 3-point favorite at the Jets. I'll take Miami.
That does seem a little bit low, even with Teddy at the helm.
Yeah, I'll take Miami to cover.
There you go. So next up, we've got the Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Falcons are a team that has proven some things. They've proven to be a better offense than I think a lot of us gave them credit for coming into the season, not knowing what Marcus Mariota was going to look like. And the Buccaneers are a team that finally found a little bit of their offense in that second half against the Chiefs last week, being able to put up 31 points. That being said, the Buccaneers are about as close to fully healthy as they quite possibly have been so far this season. So I've got the Bucs in this one.
And Brady's quite possibly as close to single as he's been in years. So that combined with Evans and Godwin and
single
Fournette,
Brady, oh no.
Oh yeah, the league better watch out because single
Brady's going to
Brady,
play for 20 more years.
Well, he's certainly going to beat the Falcons. That's all I got to say.
Hey, there you go. So this next one here, we've got the Tennessee Titans at the Washington Anti-Commanders.
Anti-football.
Got to switch it up a little bit. But the Titans are a team that finally came out and had some pretty solid offense against the Colts this past week. And the Commanders, what to say about them? I can't even begin to think about the coin in this one. I don't trust the Commanders at all. Give me the Titans even away.
Oh my goodness. It's really weird for me because upsets happen in the NFL. And another one that I think is going to happen is I'm gonna take the Commanders.
But Carson Wentz.
But they have
Scary Terry been.
But they have Taylor Heineke on the bench.
You think they're going to make the
quarterback substitution can change the world?
Hey, you did kind of make that call the week before the Steelers made that change mid-game. You think that the Commanders might pull that out this week?
I think Taylor Heineke is a better option at quarterback than Carson Wentz is. And I know some
here first, folks.
I know some Commanders fans who think Sam Howell is a better option at quarterback than Carson Wentz.
You saw Sam Howell in the preseason. He actually put up some pretty solid performances. No, granted, it's preseason.
Yeah, but Sam Ehlinger looked like God in the preseason. We don't see him starting over Matt Ryan.
But maybe he should be.
Maybe he should be, but he isn't. So yes. On a wing and a prayer, I'm taking the anti-footballs. God, that was harder to say than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, no kidding. In this next matchup, we've got the Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars, despite having 4 fumbles out of Trevor Lawrence last week, still managed to make it a game against the Eagles. The Houston Texans, we saw some offense out of them, but they struggled to, put all of the pieces together. With this being at home, with the Jaguars playing the way they are, I don't think you're going to see an additional 4 fumbles or as many turnovers from Trevor Lawrence. I think they're due to get a win here. And overall, I just think they're playing like the more overall complete team than the Texans are right now. So, Jags.
Maybe Doug Peterson wasn't the problem in Philadelphia because he is a legit coach of the year candidate right now with the job that he's done with this.
I'm blown away by it because I hated that signing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I am really eating my words so far. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Go watch that video of when we did the coaching carousel if you want to see Tim's words about Doug Peterson. But I also got the Jaguars. So this was a matchup that could have been a coin flip, but it's not anymore.
Going into this next matchup, we've got the San Francisco 49ers at the Carolina Panthers. Wow, Baker Mayfield is not playing good football. Yikes.
Mm-mm.
And on the other hand, the 49ers put up a very solid showing against the Rams. Now, granted, the Rams have not played like a top tier team yet, really, this year, but they did a good job in containing them, as well as putting up a lot of offense of their own.
I mean,
Um,
Jimmy G also uses the Devil's magic to be 6-0 in his career against the Rams.
like I said, the 49ers have the Rams number, which is why I went with them. But in this matchup, I think you're going to see a lot of the same, especially on offense wise for the 49ers. The 49ers with Jimmy G at the helm don't need to be flashy. They need to get it to their guys and let the guys do the work. There's a reason why Jimmy G has been sort of an under the radar QB despite some of the success that he's had with the 49ers, because it's his guys that make him look good.
Well, Jimmy Garoppolo isn't good. He's good enough.
He's good enough.
Good enough to
And
get them
that's what you need to
victories.
win some of these games when you have the kind of talent that the 49ers do around them, especially with the defense that they have. So those factors are going to lead them to a win over the Panthers in this one.
I agree with the caveat. For the love of God, unleash George Kittle. Unleash George Kittle. You have one of the best receiving tight ends in
It
the
seems
league
like they just don't really
as a
care to
primary
use him.
blocker.
Yeah.
And it boggles my mind.
If
Although
you want another blocker,
Kyle
just put another lineman out there.
Kyle Shanahan probably knows better than I do. I'm not that full of myself, but it's
So,
frustrating.
all of the
It's
fans
frustrating
would
to
love
see.
to see Kittle out there doing more of Kittle things than he has been.
Yep.
So going on into this next one, we've got the Dallas Cowboys at the LA Rams.
Incoming Cooper Rush masterclass. I'm
Cooper
picking the
Rush, wow.
Cowboys.
And you know what? I'm right there with you. And
I
it's
got
crazy to
Dallas.
think about that, but the Cowboys are the team right now that is not only playing better on offense, but is playing better on defense. Cooper Rush at the helm
Correct.
has led that
Correct.
Cowboys offense to actually have a pretty cohesive offense. They're getting CD Lamb going. The only guy that they're not getting going is Dalton Schultz. And I know that he was like first coming back last week, but
Yeah.
man, that hurt.
Yeah, Tim, I will quote some Fox Sports analyst that shall remain nameless. We're gonna give him a name. How about Bip Scalus? How bet them Cowboys? We both got Dallas.
You know it. It's going to be an interesting matchup here, but the Rams have not really looked like
Shout
the
out
Rams we
Bip.
expected. So, Bip Scalus, you're big fans. But this next one here, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Arizona Cardinals. And the Eagles are the only undefeated team left in the NFL right now, and they are playing like it, despite a little bit of slip ups in one of
Keep
their
it
closer
rolling.
games.
Keep it
Um,
rolling.
the Eagles came away with the win last week. It stops here. For some reason,
Ooh.
I've got the Cardinals in this one.
Oh,
And
I
there's not a whole lot of
disagree.
logic about it, other than the fact that the Cardinals are finally starting to figure some stuff out. Although we've talked about the fact that the Eagles defense has had a way with number one receivers. But something tells you, whether it's a massive James Conner game, whether Kyler decides that he wants to be the toddler magician that he can be. I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one. I haven't taken a whole lot of upsets. It's kind of a bold one to take, but I've got to take a leap
Yeah.
of faith on it.
Yeah,
And it could bite me in the butt,
you're
but
definitely
that's fine.
taking a leap of faith. I mean, just listen to the words that you're using to describe the Cardinals. You're describing Kyler Murray as a
Toddler magician?
toddler magician. Just like replay that back in your mind, and like you think that they're gonna
Nope, we're going to
figure
speed
some.
right past it.
Yep, you're gonna figure something out. We don't know what it is, but the Cardinals are just gonna magically figure it out. And
Yep.
I don't know what like has been looking up for them lately. A 10-point win against the Panthers, who don't look good. I don't have faith in this Cardinals team. The Eagles look fantastic.
Never said that I did.
They're gonna keep right on rolling. They're going to 5-0.
Hey, and you very well might be right. In this next matchup here, we have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. And man, did the Ravens had it till they didn't. They really should have been able to close that one out, and that's the second game that this year that they've had a substantial lead that they have failed to close out. On the other hand, we've got the Cincinnati Bengals, that obviously it was with a toolless Dolphins, but they did put a very solid performance up against that Dolphins team. We're seeing a little bit more of what we've expected out of the Bengals. That being said, I don't think that the Ravens are going to fumble this one again. And I think their offense and defense are going to be fine. At home, I've got the Ravens.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, we had such high expectations for Cincinnati, and it's going to take one more for me to go back to those high expectations. We've seen what they've done against like in the first 2 weeks, and now they're kind of figuring stuff out. They're like
Yeah,
actually figuring stuff out, but
they're doing a lot better with it, that's for sure.
We know what the Ravens are. The Ravens are an incredibly good football team. They're very well rounded. If Lamar does more of what Lamar's been doing, they'll be fine.
And to wrap out this week, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Raiders finally got in the win column. Let's go. But I hate to break it to you, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. They're at home. And I don't see the Chiefs slowing down against the likes of the Las Vegas Raiders in this one. So I've got the Chiefs.
Let me hit you with something,
Oh
Tim.
no.
Let me hit you with a prediction. All right.
Yes.
Chiefs are still going to win. However,
Okay.
I will pick the Raiders to cover. The Chiefs
Okay. So a
are.
little asterisk next to the pick
Mm-hmm.
here.
Well, it's
What's
not
the line
necessarily.
looking like?
Kansas City is favored by 7 points as of right now. I think this will be a greasy game where the Raiders are finally starting to click. This was a playoff team last year that got better. And it's not that the Raiders don't have like a lack of talent. It's there. They just need to come together and play as a cohesive unit. So I don't think they're going to win, but I think this is going to be a closer game than most people think.
Yeah, you think that they're finally gonna put up a solid enough game to compete with some of the best of the
Hmm.
best in that league there. And you know what? And that's perfectly fair. They've got a lot of talent. They've just got to be able to put those pieces together. But that wraps up our week 5 predictions here. Keep an eye on these games this weekend to see how we did. Let us know if you think that we have anything very right or very wrong. But that being said, we've got a
Let
lot
us
of
know in the
content here.
comments.
Yes, please. We love that. We love that fan interaction. But once again, we have a lot of content out here, not only in the NFL, NHL, NBA, lots of stuff looking back. So if you want it, look back. We've probably got it. Keep an eye out for all the content we've got coming forward as we go through this NFL season. We've got plenty more coming through in predictions and fantasy. Um, we appreciate all the love and support. So keep an eye out for what we've got. But until next time, we out. Peace.